Hello everyone, and welcome to the Guild Battlegrounds for the Oceanic Future in Forge of Empires. In this video, we'll go through the different units in the Oceanic Future, including their strengths, weaknesses, and special abilities. Then we'll do a few practice fights to see how they look in battle. There are quite a few units, so let's get started. First, the fast units, beginning with the Hydroelectric Eel. It has attack bonuses on rocks and in houses, and also against ranged units and artillery units. The defensive bonuses are similar, except that instead of rocks and houses, it's rocks and forests. It has two skills, one of them being the ability to hide, and the other called Heat, which reduces the attack of the target by 20%. So for example, if the target's attack was 100, it would be reduced to 80. Then the gliders have the same attack and defense bonuses, rocks, houses, forests, ranged units, artillery units, but it has two different skills, the first being Swarm, which means that it gets a 30 defense bonus when it's adjacent to another unit with Swarm. The defense bonus is stacked, so if you have 4 or 5 of them all in a group, it'll go up by a lot. The second skill is Flying, which means that it cannot be attacked by artillery units. It also ignores terrain when moving. Next, we have the heavy units, including the Octopod, the Crab Mech, and the Champion. The Octopod has attack bonuses on hills and on rubble, and versus fast units and ranged units. Defense bonuses are slightly different, given on the plains and in the forests, but still against the same type of units. It has one skill called Frenzy, which deals 50% damage to the enemy units within 1 tile range of the unit on top of the damaging target unit. What that means is, any unit adjacent to the target unit will still get some damage. Next is the Crab Mech. It has attack bonuses on hills and on rubble, and against fast units and ranged units, but its only defensive bonuses are in entrenchments. It has reactive armor, which means that it cannot take more than 4 damage per attack, and it also has the skill Blast, which means that it gains attack bonus for each field closer to the target that it has. It also ignores stealth. The Champion has attack bonuses on the plains, and of course versus fast and ranged units. Defensive bonuses are the same, and it has the two skills that we normally see with champions. Chivalry, which means that it gains a bonus of attack and defense when it's the only unit with chivalry in your army. And the second, Call of Duty, which grants an attack and defense bonus to every other friendly unit when the champion is killed. The two light units are called the Scimitar and the Manta. The Scimitar has attack bonuses on rocks and in houses, and also against heavy units and fast units. The defense bonuses are on rocks and forests, and also against heavy units and fast units. The skill is called Dragon Breath, which means that it attacks a row of enemies up to 2 tiles behind the target enemy, without receiving any retaliation from them. The Manta has attack bonuses on hills, and of course against heavy and fast units, and defense bonuses in the forest and on rubble. It has two skills. The first, which is new, is a 50% chance of poisoning units when it attacks. The poisoned unit loses 1 health point every turn. The second skill we've seen before, which is Contact, which means that it always retaliates against attacks. This is true even if it begins as a rogue. So if a rogue gets hit and turns into a Manta, it will then immediately retaliate against the attack. The artillery units are called the Turturet and the Medusa. The Turturet attacks on the plains and against light and heavy units, and has defense bonuses on rocks and against light and heavy units. Its one skill is called Mortar. It's a shot that also causes 50% damage to units within a 2-tile range around the unit. Medusa has the same attack and defense bonuses as the Turturet, but different skills. Its first skill is called Rapid Deployment, similar to when we first saw it in the Paratrooper from way back when. It starts the battle in the random field on the map, and it acts before any other unit, even the fast units. The second skill is called Blast, which means that it gains an attack bonus for each field closer to the target than it is. It also ignores stealth. This is similar to the C.R.A.B mech. And finally, the ranged units with the subcruiser and the Nautilus. The subcruiser has attack bonuses on planes and versus light and artillery units. It also has defense bonuses against light and artillery units, as well as in bushes and in forests. Like other artillery units and ranged units that we've seen, it has a skill called Dug In, which means that it gains a defense bonus if the attacker is more than 2 spaces away. It also has a Contact, which means that it can retaliate against attacks. With a range of 12, that's pretty good. The Nautilus has attack bonuses in entrenchments and in houses, and also against light and artillery units. The defense bonuses are the same, and its one skill is called Force Field, which means that it absorbs damage by 2, up to a minimum of 1 damage point. So what that means is, if an attacking unit tries to damage by 4 points, the Force Field could absorb 2 of those points, and so the Nautilus would only take 2 points damage. So 11 units in total, which means that you won't be able to even have one of each unit on your team if you wanted. But let's see how a few of them compare to each other. Here you can see my Medusa came down right in the middle of the battlefield and can attack before any other unit. Next are my fast units, like the hydroelectric eel, and my gliders. Then my light units, the scimitar, and the manta. Then my artillery units. You see all the damage that the other units took, even though I only targeted that one mech. And finally my C.R.A.B mech, which won't make it to the other side of the battlefield quite yet. Sorry, then my octopod. So let's see if I can test out my dragon breath by attacking this C.R.A.B mech and hurting the one behind it. So now my turret, if I attack this one, the others next to it should also get hit, which happens. And then finally the octopod, where if I attack this C.R.A.B mech, the other C.R.A.B mech should also get damaged. Let's do another battle with our ranged units as well. Here's my subcruiser, using its large range, as well as my Nautilus to finish the job. My turret, damaging a bunch of stuff together, and then the enemy turret doing the same to me. My Medusa using its long range, and of course an advantage that I have is a very high attack and defense bonus from great buildings and other buildings in my city. I would say at Oceanic Future you should definitely have a high attack and defense bonus for your attacking army, so that the attack and defense bonuses of the units don't quite matter as much. But with that, it's the end of this video. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. If you enjoyed this video and would want to see more, please like and subscribe. And as always, keep on jamming.